Encounter is brought to you by the Broome County Council of Churches, where we connect compassion with needs as we inspire growth with dignity. You'll find us in special places throughout the community. For those who remain hungry, we provide meals. For those who are challenged, we build wheelchair ramps. We comfort those who are ill, minister to those who are confined, and we remain an advocate for change and understanding on behalf of every element of our community. Connect and inspire. Encounter the Broome County Council of Churches.
Welcome to Encounter. I'm your host, Dave Alexander. Today I have a staff member from the Broome County Health Department, Jaime Welch. Thank you and welcome. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Thank you for having me, Dave.
Sure.
Well, I work at the Broome County Health Department. I have an undergraduate degree in biology from Oswego State University, and I have a master's degree in environmental management from the University of Maryland. And I've been working with the health department for 5 years now, and most recently I have been coordinating a new grant program called the Healthy Neighborhoods Program.
Okay. Now, what did you do for the health department prior to this?
I was and still am an EPA certified lead inspector and risk assessor.
Okay. So you're kind of doing a little of everything.
Yes.
And you said you're also kind of doing two positions right now.
Yes,
Okay.
I am helping with the lead poisoning prevention programs as well as running the second year of our Healthy Neighborhoods program.
Wow. So really very busy person then.
Busy days.
Yeah, okay. Can you tell us, as far as what you do at the health department, a little bit? You know, you're a public health sanitarian.
Yep, I'm a public health sanitarian, so basically that position, I am in the Department of Environmental Health, where within that department we deal with lots of different issues in the community, such as public water supplies and rabies issues, as well as food inspections and pool inspections. But my expertise is in inspecting houses for lead-based paint hazards, as well as going into people's homes and making sure that they are living safely and can be healthy in their homes.
Okay. What will the Healthy Neighborhood Program look at, and why does it look at these things?
We do what's called a home safety survey, and what that entails is we go into someone's home and we do, it's like a basic code inspection. So we are looking for blatant hazards. We check smoke detectors, we check fire extinguishers if there are any, we check to make sure there are carbon monoxide detectors, we check carbon monoxide levels within the home while we're there. We look for electrical hazards, fire hazards. We talk to people about pests, as well as cleaning techniques, things to minimize dust and to not create allergic or asthma attacks. And if any of those things are not present, we are able to provide them to them. So we are able to change all batteries and all smoke detectors if they are there. If they are not, we provide the smoke detectors and the carbon monoxide detectors. We also can talk to people about mold and mildew issues. We discuss and explain exposures to radon gas, which many people are unaware of. We set up short-term tests to test their homes for radon gas exposure. It is the second leading cause of lung cancer behind tobacco smoke. We talk to people about tobacco smoke. If they do smoke, we seek to get smoke-free home pledges from people who smoke in their homes, to at least smoke outside to not endanger their families around them, and provide them with cessation materials should they choose to quit. So we pretty much talk about the gamut of things that can go wrong or affect your health in your home.
Now, you mentioned at the beginning of just what you said about looking at, code things. Now, do you ever get in a position where you have to say, because the program's basically in the city of Binghamton, so you have to involve like code enforcement from the city because of what you might find?
Absolutely. If we find situations that may pose life or death circumstances, such as a gas leak, we are leaving the building, encouraging everyone in there to leave as well, and calling NICEAG immediately.
Okay.
We will call code if it is life and death type of situation, but we try to respect the tenants or the homeowners. Some people are a little nervous about calling code. They may be afraid of eviction.
Right.
We are willing to make that call for them on their behalf, so as property owners possibly may not know it was them, to try and get situations remediated.
Okay.
But yes, we are willing and able to call proper authorities.
Okay. Okay, what is an environmental health hazard?
Anything that is in their home that can negatively affect their health,
Okay.
such as leaky pipes, which can contribute to mold and mildew growth. Also, things such as having pets sleep on tenants' beds if they may have asthma. That is a huge asthma trigger. Same with pests, cockroach, frass, and mice. Things of that nature are severe asthma attack triggers. Deteriorated lead-based paint, which poses a hazard to little ones. We talk about lots of different things and try to provide solutions or places for people to call to get help with those specific areas.
Okay. Who is at most risk, while you're doing this? Or
I would have to say children or elderly with compromised immune systems, or those with with asthma that is not well controlled, especially allergy-induced asthma, which is why a lot of the things that we provide people, lots of cleaning supplies, teaching them how to clean in a wet way so as not to kick up a lot of dust or dander or dirt. That helps with multiple causes, such as lead-based paint hazards. It helps with reducing dust, pollen, dander for asthma attacks, and it's also a safe way to clean.
Okay. Why is it the focus on homes?
A majority of people spend a significant amount of time in their homes. So while they're in their homes, there are so many dangers that people are not particularly paying attention to. Home is a safe haven, a place away from everyone. It's your home, it's your comfort. People spend a ton of time there as well as sleep there. And that amount of time they are exposed to all of those environmental issues.
Can you tell me a little bit how the Healthy Neighborhood Program can help residents?
People who live in certain geographical areas, they can call and they can receive a home safety survey for free. Basically, myself or one other trained professional will come in, look at all of those things we just discussed, discuss any particular concerns that the tenants or residents may have. There is no income eligibility. It doesn't matter if you rent or you own. Right now we have 2 specific targeted areas. 2 of them are on the south side of Binghamton, and 2 of them are in the village of Johnson City. I would encourage anyone to, even if they have questions or concerns, to call. This grant is for 5 years, and we are, as we speak, making strides to expand those targeted areas so as to bring these services to more people.
So how were all these locations determined? I mean, is it just because of need, or did someone actually say this is, you might be able to tell because of the condition of the outside of the homes that these are the neighborhoods?
Well, what we did when this grant became available to apply for, it's funding through New York State, and we took lots of different data sets. So we compared data from hospitalizations due to asthma, fires, code complaints, lead poisonings, falls, people who fall in their home, all sorts of things, and they led to these 2 areas first to try and make an impact. And we have guaranteed funding for 5 years. We just finished our first year. We performed 225 initial surveys and 58 revisit surveys. So when someone is identified as having asthma in an initial survey, we are able to go back at the 60 to 90 day mark with their permission, and we check in with them. We see how things are going. We see if any of the materials we provided were able to help reduce any of their asthma triggers in their home. We can also, if they don't have the means to purchase a vacuum cleaner or to borrow the county-owned HEPA vacuum cleaners, we can provide one with a HEPA filter for free, brand new, to try and lower those triggers in their home. The HEPA filter vacuums also can help with lead dust and all sorts of other things to help live a healthier, safer life.
Now, you're going into a home for the second visit and you find a family who basically has, I don't know, maybe ignored everything you did the first time. Does that ever happen that you, or is most everybody pretty compliant? You know, they take what they've learned what you've taught them the first time and they just need to improve upon it possibly, or?
I think that for the most part, every revisit that we've done, the people that we are trying to help have done the best that they can with what they have. Nobody has been unappreciative of the amount of things that we have given and the tools and the education. Sometimes it may take a little bit more education and materials to further support this behavioral change. And that's what it is. It's a behavioral change, so it takes time.
Right. Well, I was going to say, it's just like the tobacco, it's something you just don't stop cold turkey. It takes time. So it's learning a whole new way of taking care of your home, your environment.
Absolutely. And a lot of times people will do positive changes within their means, but may be afraid to contact other authorities for fear of not having a place to live. So we try to support the family with what they need support with and what their goals are. The best that we can.
Now, when you come in to do a survey, what do the people, what is expected, or?
Well, first we sit and chat. We talk about different issues that they may have in the home. We talk about lots of different educational materials that we bring that cover pretty much a little bit of everything. Pamphlets on fire safety, how to go over escape routes in the home with the family, coming up with a family plan, when and how to check smoke detectors. That smoke detectors don't have a lifetime, 7 to 10 years and they're done. We talk about all those things. We, especially in light of recent events in our community, if there is a second or third floor and possibly not another way out, we have fire escape ladders. So to go over that with the family, that it's a plan in place and that everyone can get out safely. We provide smoke detectors, fire extinguishers, and we go over how to use them and when to use them. I don't want anyone to have a false sense of security to stay and fight the fire, but if their means of getting out of the home are blocked by fire, to use it and get out. Fire is very scary. And that is the number one thing on my agenda, to make sure that everyone knows how to get out and to stay safe. Because if they cannot, then all the other issues are of no concern.
So basically you're helping them develop a nice plan of, getting out of the house, how to, different options, but then probably meeting someplace once you're out. Because I know a lot of times you hear, there's been a fire, they don't know if someone's still in the house or not, because some people got out, they don't know where to meet the others, and it's like everybody scatters in different directions, so it's,
scary, and it's chaotic, and actually working in this program and coming up with these plans of escape with families, it made me think of my own family, whereas we had plans to get out, but didn't have a family meeting spot.
Okay.
And if I didn't know where my son was or vice versa, I can't imagine that feeling and having to go back in. So needless to say, we are all learning, and we never stop learning, and
Right.
we have a family meeting spot now. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely, it's very important, but also trying to educate the little ones
Right.
without scaring them, but coming up with a plan that they understand and that everyone has a role in keeping everyone safe.
Well, that's the big thing. I mean, I think, you know, we were talking a little bit before. I mean, our whole area has shifted as far as the income level
Yes.
what are used to be. So you have a whole different segment of people now living in our community, and a lot of people are, I guess I will call them transplants, probably from New York City or other places. So they're coming from an area that probably doesn't even have an idea of what you're talking about, because they haven't experienced it. So
Correct.
it's got to be very difficult going in some cases talking to the people, because they have no clue, I guess.
Right, and they, a lot of people automatically assume that it is a property owner's responsibility,
Okay.
which it is, but the time frame between having a smoke detector and a fire extinguisher there, I want them to be there, no
Right.
matter whose responsibility it is to provide them. And even if those apparatus are there, I change the batteries, even if they're not beeping.
Okay. Well, I know we hear the horror stories where it's a tenant. I mean, the landlord has put all these smoke detectors, everything in, but the tenant comes in, they take the batteries to put the battery in something else.
Correct.
And it's like, okay, it's not the landlord's responsibility to come in on a weekly basis to make sure, because most times
Correct.
the landlord may never come in, because depending on how you pay them, so he wouldn't
And that
know.
would be a full-time job in itself.
Right.
A lot of smoke detectors and carbon monoxide detectors, the ones that we provide, they run on 9-volt batteries, which not always, but lots of times there aren't very many other uses
Okay.
in the home for
Right.
those. So that is one way
Then sure they're going to stay.
I try to, yes,
Yeah.
to make sure that they are used for their intended purpose,
Right.
which is to save lives.
Right.
Absolutely.
So, now you provide a lot of free things. So I mean, you've already talked about some of them.
Yes.
The CO detectors, the smoke alarms, fire extinguishers. Now, talk a little bit about you actually do the radon testing. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Absolutely. Well, we talk with the tenants or homeowners about what radon is,
Okay.
that it's a colorless, odorless gas. There's nothing we can do about it. It's naturally occurring in the ground, and as it decays, it becomes radon gas. So it gets into our homes through cracks and crevices in our foundations. We set up, it's called a short-term test. It is basically just a packet of activated charcoal, it looks
Okay.
like. It stays completely enclosed. We set it on the lowest level of living space. That's where I want to see if
Right,
there is any
okay.
exposure. So if no one is going in the basement, I don't particularly want to know what the basement level is. So we fill out all the paperwork. What has to happen in 2 days is that the homeowners or tenants need to pick it up, put it in the envelope that's already ready to go with the paperwork, and put it in the mail. So the results of those radon tests come to myself via email, and we share those with the tenants
Okay.
and property owners. As of yet, there have been a few that have been over the action level, and steps have been taken by the property owner
Okay.
to address those. But those were usually basement apartments.
Okay.
So
Now, one of the things we haven't really maybe touched on, but you mentioned pest control in a home, and I would assume like the bed bug issue. I don't know if you run into that.
yes,
Now, I'm assuming you provide like mattress covers possibly, or
yes, we do. Mattress covers serve a few different functions. especially with those living with asthma. Most asthma attacks and triggers happen while the person with asthma is sleeping, laying down.
Right.
So mattress covers help to reduce the dander and whatnot for them as well. The mattress covers, bed bugs are a problem in our area. They are a public health nuisance, but not a public health hazard. As of right now, they have not been proven to carry or spread disease.
Okay.
With that being said, they can cause quite a psychological problem as well, and yes, they are definitely everywhere. So what we do is we educate people on laws with dealing with bed bugs. In multifamily homes, if the infestation is in more than one unit, under the building code, the landlord would need to hire a professional exterminator to deal with that. One of the large things that, or a serious issue that I find, is that people will buy chemicals and drop them off and have people, the tenants apply them.
Right.
In New York State, that is not okay. It is always okay to ask to see someone's license to apply pesticides. If they have it, they will be very proud to show it. It's a very difficult and esteemed certificate to obtain. If they have any questions, they more than happy to help them and guide them. They are more than welcome to call me.
Okay, because I was going to say, I know I was certified through DEC for pesticide application, and the process is a lot. I mean, and you go through testing quite often on it. But people should be aware, going to Home Depot or wherever and buying the chemicals, you don't know what you're putting down, and if you have small children, you spray something on the floor and they are crawling around and they lick it or whatever. I mean, you're asking for more problems.
Absolutely. And a lot of individuals are not aware of the triangle of integrated pest management. So as to the triangle being, one side of it is the food and the water. If you can cut those of what the pest needs to survive, you don't have to apply as many chemicals. You bring down the population load. Some disturbing facts, just cockroaches alone, they can live a month without food, but only a week without water. And that can be just a drip or, from a faucet, or a sink full of dishes with water in it. It doesn't take much.
Now, what about a lead poisoning? When you go in, you're looking, especially the older homes, assume you can pretty well tell immediately that it's lead paint on the windows and sometimes even probably on the walls.
Yes, I'm still a certified lead inspector, and I can visually tell with about 90% certainty whether or not it is lead. So we visually inspect every home that we go to for deteriorated paint. If there are young children, we encourage them to let us place a referral with the lead poisoning prevention program, where they can come out with their X-ray fluorescence analyzer and definitively tell if it is lead or not. That machine can read down 3/8 of an inch of paint. It's never the top layer. Lead-based paint was banned for residential use in 1978. And we always encourage parents to get their children tested. It's law in New York State to have your children tested for blood lead at age 1 and again at age 2. It is not happening. But the effects of lead poisoning are irreversible and permanent and very scary.
Now, how can someone make their home healthier? I mean, you're providing all these things, but they've got to do some stuff.
Yes, there are 7 key principles that go into having a healthy home. Now, let's see if I can get them in order, but what you need to do is to keep things dry, keep things safe, keep things clean, pest-free, contaminant-free, let's see, well ventilated and maintained. So those are like the hot spots right there. If you can try and do all of those things by yourself or with your property owner's help, your chances of living in a healthier home go up exponentially. So we do what we can with what we have. There is no home that is completely safe, even the brand new construction homes. We think about all the new furnitures and rugs that we put in and all of the gases that off-gas from those.
Right.
We seal our homes up so tight for energy efficiency, but our homes can't breathe. So therefore, sometimes we are breathing in those contaminants. We all love the new car smell, but yes, those are volatile organic compounds. Even myself, I'm guilty of it. But yes, those are chemicals and things we want to try to avoid.
So, as we're kind of coming to close of our time, is there something that is really tugging at you that you need to say to people about this? I mean, I know that people can call the health department, schedule an appointment.
If they have any concerns or questions, even if they don't think that they're in our targeted area, I encourage them to call. We can talk to anyone and mail out information. We hang on to people's information with their permission so that when our targeted areas are expanded, they're the first people that we can call, and we go to them first. Another main thing that I know we're coming out of the heating season, but we saw a lot of people using their gas stoves as a secondary source of heat, and that is a serious exposure to carbon monoxide. I would encourage people not to do that. If they don't have adequate heat, call code, call their property owner, and call myself, and I will try to help.
So I guess from everything you said, especially if you're a tenant, you shouldn't be afraid to call for fear that they call you, then the landlord's going to say you're out or whatever. They really need to take the phone, pick it up, call and say, hey, we think we have a problem, and then you go from there. And it doesn't necessarily have to be the tenant that's doing all the yelling and screaming.
Absolutely, and tenants have rights in New York State too, as well as property owners. We're not here to get anyone kicked out or to not have a place to live or to punish property owners for renting to people. We want to just try and help everyone.